Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Ginger Pierce, and I am one of the travel agents with Marvelous Mouse Travels. We are the agency that runs this Facebook group, as well as several others focused around different destinations. And we were also voted best of the best for Sandals and Beaches resorts. Welcome to Sundays with MMT. This is a weekly live agent panel video series that we do in one of our groups every Sunday night at 8 p.m. And we are so excited to talk to you tonight about Sandals and Beaches Platinum Protocols of Cleanliness. We have a lot of information that we're going to share with you tonight, but we also want to save some time at the end of the video to take your questions. So if at any point you have a question, feel free to go ahead and drop that in the comments, and we will get to all of the questions at the end of the video. Now, we are broadcasting tonight using a program known as StreamYard, and StreamYard may ask you to approve it to display your username and your profile picture, but you can decline that permission and still post your question as an anonymous user, and we'll still be able to see it and answer it. So I'm joined tonight by two Marvelous Mouse Travels agents. Thank you so much for being here tonight, ladies. And please take a minute to introduce yourselves, say how long you've been with the agency, and what's the best way for people to contact you if they'd like to plan a vacation.
Hi, so I'm Nikki Kennedy. I've been with the agency since, July of 2018. So quite a while now, actually. The best way to contact me is either probably through email or Instagram. My Instagram handle is Your Family Travel Planner. And then my email, like on the screen, is nikki@marvelousmousetravels.com.
Hi, I'm Holly Riley. I have actually been with the agency since December of 2016. So I am just hit my end of the fourth year here. So going into year 5. Best way to contact me is my Facebook page on the screen there, or you can email me at holly@marvelousmousetravels.com.
And again, I am Ginger Pierce. I have been with the agency since May of 2018. And the best way to contact me is using my Linktree page, which is gingermmt.com. You can also check me out on YouTube at youtube.com/gingermmt. So, ladies, the travel industry is about to enter something known as wave season, which we know is a time when a lot of people start thinking about planning and booking that next family vacation. And for a lot of people, in fact, probably most of the people who will be watching this video tonight, that perfect vacation is an all-inclusive vacation. But like we know, not all-inclusive resorts are created equal. So before we talk about the platinum protocols of cleanliness, what, in your opinion, sets Sandals and Beaches resorts apart from other all-inclusive brands?
I guess my biggest thing is that it's actually all-inclusive. I've been on so many all-inclusive vacations that were supposedly all-inclusive, and I still leave with like $500 bill or that kind of thing. When my husband and I just barely went to Sandals, we literally bought sunscreen, and that's it. And it's not like we're just like we're being cheap. Like every single thing that you can think of to do while you're there is included, and that's huge. And if you remember sunscreen, then you don't say that either. But we did not. So
Yeah, that's definitely, I agree with that 100%. I mean, you don't even have to pay like tips or buy anything. If you have a butler, you might want some money if you want to do some shopping in the gift shop, but you really can go there and not have to spend any money. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, that's what oftentimes maybe people think they're getting when they book an all-inclusive vacation. But when you book at Sandals or Beaches, that's what you're actually getting. You're getting that true all-inclusive experience. And just for people who maybe are new to the Sandals and Beaches brands, Sandals is the adults only branch of the company, and Beaches is going to be your family-friendly branch of the company. So you're getting the same level of service at both, but it's just who's there that is going to differ between the two. And we'll talk a little bit more about some of the different resorts and some of our favorite resorts towards the end of the video. But if you have questions about that, again, go ahead and feel free to drop those in the comments at any time, and we will get to those at the end of the video. So let's move on to talking about the platinum protocols of cleanliness, because obviously, there are still a lot of concerns that people have, and understandably so, about travel right now, and particularly international travel. And I know that personally, as a traveler, I like to know that the destinations that I'm traveling to are taking the pandemic seriously, and that they are doing everything in their power to promote health and safety. And I have to say that in looking over the platinum protocols, I was absolutely flabbergasted at how much Sandals and Beaches are doing. In fact, it's probably more, honestly, than we can touch on in terms of every little detail in this video, but we're just going to try to hit the highlights. So let's start with arrival. What can guests expect when they're arriving at the airport and taking the complimentary private transfers to the resort?
So I went to, since all this fun has started, I've been into the Montego Bay airport twice. And I will say too, just because I mean, a lot of the Sandals beaches, you're going to fly into Montego Bay. That airport is like so clean. They want guests to travel. I mean, they're taking everything so seriously because they need people to travel. So that's impressive. When you get through the airport, Sandals has like a private lounge. They give you hand sanitizer. They make sure that everyone is like distanced. We were the only ones in our room both times. They bring you your like prepackaged snacks. Like there's no, I mean, you're 6 feet from everyone unless they're like handing you a drink. Like it's very well. And then as soon as you leave, you see them come in and wipe everything down. Like they've taken awesome measures of that. I was never even a little bit concerned about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I've also went through Montego Bay and they were great. I also flew into Barbados fairly early on to the more opening up of the islands, and their procedures were very well too. They actually had a line and you kind of had like 5 different stops, so they like took your temperature and wristbanded to where you were going. You speak with a nurse, so they can go over everything going on in the island and the procedures and protocols that if that you need to know for depending on your length of stay there. And yeah, they were just, both airports were very careful, cautious. Both of them are making sure that you had been tested and we're following all the procedures so that everyone there was safe.
Absolutely. And obviously, since you brought up testing requirements are going to vary depending on where you're going. There are Sandals and Beaches all over. So a lot of that will depend on what island you're traveling with. And that's one of the perks of booking through an agent, is that travel agents are up on all of those details and can help you know what the testing requirements are for your individual vacation. And in terms of the private transfers, that's one of the things that is included at Sandals and Beaches. We were talking about that true all-inclusive experience. You get those private transfers, and you always have, but now there are fewer people on that private transfer, so it's even more private. And not only is that just nice for the introverts among us, like myself, but it's also something that you're less interaction with people, which in a pandemic is obviously a good thing. How about the check-in process? How has that changed since the reopening?
That also varies by resort and island. Barbados, we arrived, they welcomed us with a song, and we literally got off the shuttle. We were walked up to the desk, we put down our incidental card, and then we were taken away by our butler. And it was just like, we didn't sit around at all. We weren't around people. We were gone. In Jamaica, it was a little different. It was kind of more like normal, where we got to the resort and we got to the club lounge and stuff, but there was like limited people in the club. We were wearing our mask, and they, again, went a little quicker to try to get us out of there so that there wasn't a lot of people in there at the same time. So
for sure.
You have an online check-in option now too.
Yes.
I haven't done that personally. I've like walked through clients through it, but I will say like we did the same thing. Like we checked in the concierge lounge, and everything was like so clean. Same thing. Like they had like certain groups over here and certain groups over here. And everything was so clean, and they were awesome. That everyone's wearing a mask. If you're inside like that kind of space, you have to be wearing your mask. They're very insistent on it. The second you walk in, like you have to have hand sanitizer. They're going to kick you back out. Like they make sure that those germs are being taken care of.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. So speaking of everything being clean, how has Sandals enhanced their cleaning procedures both in the rooms and in the common spaces, since you guys mentioned common spaces?
So they've done so much. You can actually on their website, they have a whole, I mean, it's just so long. I'm not even going to go over all of it. But if you're concerned about it, like they have like touch points throughout the entire room, like numbered and what they're doing to clean it and everything. And actually when you check in, there's like a sticker on the door and someone walks you to your room and you basically have to sign off that you realize like this is clean. You have to break the seal to get into your room. And then they actually have like maps laid out in your room for you to say like, so when they're cleaning it, they're like, no, this got done, this got done, this got done. Like it is thorough. No concerns there at all.
Yeah, even like the remote controls and stuff are wrapped. And you see, like, even when you're walking around the resort, I constantly saw people cleaning things, wiping things down, making sure all the areas were clean. Everywhere you enter, you put hand sanitizer on. So they're doing a really good job with all the cleaning.
Things you like wouldn't even think of. Like we played, they have like a giant chess game. And like between people, there's like this crew that just like swarms the chess game and like wipes it down real quick. You're like, oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, there's always people everywhere.
There's no buffer with that.
Yeah. You guys mentioned the touch points, and just looking at the website, I'm looking at common spaces, 18 touch point practice. Yeah. In the suites, 12 cleaning touch points, bathrooms, 9 cleaning touch points. Like they're very very open about
the room. Like it's not like it's this giant space. Like that's a lot of touch points.
Yeah, for sure. So what about temperature checks? What are the requirements for temperature checks upon arrival?
When you arrive to the resort, they will check your temperature. I know in Jamaica, we started at Royal Caribbean and then we went over to Montego Bay. And so once we switched, they checked our temperature too. And in Barbados, the airport did give us a paper that we could check our own temperature and write down every day as well to keep track. But
yeah, in Jamaica, you're supposed to like register it on their app too. So we went in October and we went in December, and things have already changed.
Yeah,
and probably have changed since. So it really kind of just depends on where you're going. That's another perk of using a travel agent because we're always up to date on that. I actually took my daughter, so we went to Beaches, which is a family resort. And when I took her to their kids, they have like Camp Sesame is what it's called. And I actually had to get my temperature checked. She had to get her temperature checked to check her in, and then also again when we checked her out, we both had to get it checked again. So, and she was only in there for like 2 hours, so yeah. They were very thorough on that.
Definitely. What about physical distancing? How are they promoting physical distancing at the resorts?
I've laughed with a couple clients because I'm like, the best place to social distance is on Jamaica 7 Mile Beach. So, I mean, we have plenty of space out there for where we should be. But they do have like chairs are more separated. Pool chairs are more separated. There's lots of stuff blocked off in the restaurants. The tables are very far apart. Like everything's set up so that you really, unless you're trying to be on top of other people, you're not going to be. Gotcha. And the capacity is a lot lower than standard. Plus then on top of that, a ton of people aren't traveling right now.
Yeah, absolutely. What about masks? What are the mask requirements for guests?
You have to wear them whenever you're indoors. So like you go in the gift shop, things like that. You're more than welcome to wear them all over. It's up to you. You can take them off or you can wear them however you feel safe. Yeah.
I actually appreciated too, like when you're in, like they would have a thing that said like in certain places, like only 2 people can be in here, only 1 family in the elevator and stuff. Yeah. But unlike some other places, they kind of do have areas where you can be more relaxed. Like you can be on the beach and you don't have to wear your mask.
Mhm.
Which, like, if you're far away from people, I mean, who wants to lay on the beach with a mask on? Like, I don't. Like, come on, I'm here for a tan. Like, I don't need like my mask
Yeah.
tan.
Or
So I
sitting in the
actually really
pool.
yeah, exactly. Like, oh hi, I'm fried everywhere but my mouth. But that was actually I really appreciated that, and people just kind of stayed away, so you can, kind of have a normal vacation, and then yeah, that was a big deal for me.
Yeah.
You're still on vacation, right? Like you still want somewhat of a normalcy, but also
Right.
still be safe and
Of
take
course.
care of that way.
I feel
Yeah.
like everyone there was very like respectful of it too. Everyone just kind of kept their space, and so
Mhm.
we could all be happy with taking
Exactly.
out our masks and stuff. So yeah.
Well, and some of the things I didn't even ask about, but that are also, things they're doing, their employees are masked.
Yes.
They
And they're
are
so
having their
diligent on that.
temperatures taken every day when they get to work. And so, they are being careful even with their own personnel to make sure that they are keeping guests safe as well. So you mentioned a normal vacation and, we want to feel like, the world is maybe getting back to normal a little bit. Do you feel like it is worth it? Is it worth the investment to travel
Oh
to
yeah.
Sandals and Beaches right now? There's not a lot like that's not open or that people can't take advantage of right now.
I
No,
think
that's go ahead.
sorry. We'll like, yeah, go.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, I feel like it's a great time to go, especially the Sandals properties I've been to. It seems very normal. I mean, other than, popping on my mask to go in the gift shop and stuff, I can lay on the beach, I can go to the pool, and the capacity is lower, so you don't have people everywhere. I know a lot of pictures I posted while I was on property, people were like, "Man, are you there by yourself?" Like, it was great. It was really enjoyable.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep, 100% agree with that. I think everyone's craving some normalcy, right? Like,
Mhm.
sadly, masks kind of are the normal right now. So just
Absolutely.
finding that balance, and we can't wait around forever. Like, I don't regret going by any means.
No.
Yeah. And if you got a social distance, like you said, what better place than the
Why
beach?
not? I can
Yeah.
social distance in my house in the snow, or I can go lay on a beach somewhere. Like, yeah, I'm good with the second option.
I got you. So, as agents, often I know I have friends and family who will, ask me a question of why should people book their vacation through you as opposed to booking it themselves? So, in your opinion, how has the pandemic demonstrated the importance of working with a travel agent when booking an all-inclusive vacation?
I had clients that were supposed to be traveling the first week of December. You have to test they were going to St. Lucia, so it was 3 days to test. Well, their test didn't come back in time. So at that point, like we're just waiting, right? Like every like half hour they're checking in with me, like, no, it still hasn't updated. Anyways, they got it and it was positive. They got it like right before they went. He has no
Oh
symptoms,
no.
like anything. And so they're freaking out, right? Like they just put all this money towards this vacation. They're switching flights. Anyways, full panic. So, I mean, it was easy for them. They called me. They told me. I said, okay, what dates work for you? They told me. We switched their dates. They're going next month. Plain simple, done. They didn't have to look into the policies. I already knew. Like, it was like, I mean, it sucks. They still didn't get to go when they wanted to.
Mhm.
But it was no stress. And I do think too, as agents, where we're constantly working with Sandals, we know all the procedures and stuff. We have a better relationship with Sandals than someone that books by themselves. That's just the way it goes. Like we're calling these people. Like I recognize people in their call centers.
Yeah.
I'm that person who's always calling. I'm sure they love to hear from me. But it made it so much easier for them instead of like this high stress. Oh no, I have COVID on top of how do we figure out this traveling. They just called me and I took care of it. Like plain and simple, way easier for them.
Yeah.
Well, and as we mentioned before, especially with the islands, they all have different procedures. They all have different testing requirements. And we're familiar with all of those because we're constantly either traveling or sending people there ourselves. And so we know, and they're up, and it's not just they have different ones, they're updated all the time. Like they can switch any day. And we get those updates. We have that relationship with Sandals and Beaches. And so we're able to tell you, oh, hey, like yesterday this switched, you have to be tested this day, or you have to fill out this online form, and we help you through all that so that you can still get there and not stress as much. And sometimes there's been several people show up to the airport that didn't know any of these things and been turned away from their vacation. So
Can you
to
imagine?
like look at this too, right? Like Holly has been to Barbados. I haven't been to Barbados, but I can be like, hey Holly, like fill me in and I can help my clients, and vice versa for so many agents. Like it's not like it's just us three, right? Like that's a huge thing with MMT is we can have an answer for you in 10 minutes. Like that's
we all help each other,
especially right now.
Yeah. I mean, we are 250 plus agents strong. So if I don't know the answer, someone does.
We can get it for you.
Yes, exactly. So let's wrap up before we take any questions that we have. Let's wrap up with a fun question. What is your favorite Sandals or Beaches resort and why?
I want to hear Holly first.
All right. So I have actually been to 11 of their 18 properties.
That's nice.
It's a really hard question because they're all great and they all kind of have their different perks. Currently, right now, Royal Barbados did become my favorite while I was there. I honestly don't even know how to tell you why. It just kind of has my heart at the moment, but I could go somewhere next week. Well, I actually am going.
It's your last one you've been to.
Yeah. And out of beaches, I've only been to Turks and Caicos, and that was amazing. But I am going to Negril next week, so we'll see if that changes my opinion on that. But yeah, they're all really great.
That's awesome. So I've been to Montego Bay and Royal Caribbean. So both are in Jamaica. They're right by each other, just exchange privileges. So I'm guessing that's what you did too. And then I've been to Beaches Negril. So I went with just my husband to Montego Bay and Royal Caribbean. They're amazing. I'll be honest, like the kids resorts are more my style. I'm just weird. Like give me all the mocktails. Like, I don't know. I'm just still a child apparently. But Beaches Negril was like my favorite thing. I just can't even wait to go back. Even my 2-year-old is telling, she'll just have random snippets of things she wants to go do. Like it's so cute. But there's just something for everyone, and it was so massive and just beautiful. So right now, the grill it's got my heart.
Yeah,
I'll have fun next week.
Well, I think that one of the big things about Barbados was my husband. He's not a traveler like I am. It's kind of hard to get him to go more places, and he's really not a go sit on the beach person. So these all-inclusives don't sound exciting to him at all. But he loved it there. And and he's like, we have to come back here. So I think that was a big perk too.
Yeah. You're like, hey, booking right now.
Yes.
That's so awesome.
So Holly, that's got to be some kind of a record, right? To have been to 11 of 8. I mean, are you the record holder in the agency?
I don't even know.
I mean, probably only our owner, Carrie, has been to, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, let's check. I don't know that we have had any questions come on. I'm going to click over here and check really quickly. I don't think we have, but I will go ahead and let people know because some people are going to catch this after it's no longer live. So just know that if you have a question, even if you're not watching it live, if you see the replay, you can still drop that question in the comments, and one of the three of us will see it and answer it for you. But thank you so much for those of you who have watched for joining us tonight for Sundays with MMT. We had so much fun chatting together about Sandals and Beaches and everything they're doing. If you'd like to get information about planning a vacation from any of the agents that you heard from tonight, feel free to reach out to any of us and we would love to help you. Remember that our planning services are always completely free when you book your vacation through us. And we book everything from all-inclusive resorts to cruises to theme park vacations and beyond. And speaking of theme park vacations, we are going to be in the next 2 weeks in some of our theme park centric groups. I think I actually talked out of turn and didn't talk about this graphic when I said over earlier. But next week, we're going to be in our Universal Orlando group talking about travel agent myths debunked. And then the same topic in our Disney World group the week after that. So we're going to be discussing kind of why is it a good decision to book a theme park vacation with a travel agent. So if you're thinking about taking your trip to the parks, feel free to tune in those groups and check those out too. Thank you again for joining us, and we hope to see you next week at 8 p.m. for another episode of Sundays with MMT. Bye, everybody.
Bye.